Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Entitled People. Hope you're all doing awesome today and it's time to check out some more Reddit posts, so let's get into it, friends. Don't want me to cold transfer pissed off customers to the manager? Okay then. I was a technician working in a lab. My job was to repair car parts for this third-party repair company. The company made such monumentally stupid decisions in a very short span that over 50% of the call center all quit within 3 days of each other. So the company started dragging employees from other departments, kicking and screaming, into the call center. Every day I'd walk in and ask the building manager, "What's up today? Am I doing my job, or am I answering phones?" And he'd sigh and say, "Answering phones." Well, I quickly learned what made a lot of the call center quit. You see, at this company, we had a really good warranty policy, lifetime warranty on the part, regardless of who owns it at any given time. If it has our sticker on it and the sticker hasn't been defaced, we will service it for free. If you aren't happy with the quality, you can ask for a refund if you were the original person who sent it in for work in the first place. Well, it turned out we were losing money, because when stuff would come in for warranty repair, some of the salespeople would grab it, rip our sticker off, throw it in the junk pile and call the customer saying we couldn't fix it. But we have a perfectly good one here that they can sell at a discount. They did this so much that customers started just asking for refunds instead. We got so many refund requests that the building manager told the call center that we would not be honoring the warranty anymore. But not to tell the customers that. Lead them on. When they ask for a refund, tell them it's being processed and will take up to 6 weeks. 6 weeks from now, when they call asking where their refund was, tell them it was in the wrong stack of paperwork or there was an error at the bank. Whatever excuse you can think of, and tell them it'll be another 6 weeks. Keep doing this until they stop calling. Well, the call center revolted. More than half quit. When I found out this is what happened, I told them they don't want me on the phones, because I will not lie to customers. Building manager said tough crap. Until they can hire more people for phones, I'm stuck there. So when someone called pissed off that they hadn't received their refund, I profusely apologized. Let them know I'm sure there's a good explanation. Let me get you a manager. And I cold transferred them to the building manager. He'd come back to his desk and find like 30 people on hold in his queue. He got pissed, told me to stop cold transferring people. So I stopped cold transferring people. Every 3 or 4 minutes, I'd let a new customer know I can get them the manager. I'd transfer them. Get up, walk over to the manager's office, and tell the manager, "Hey, so-and-so from X company is on your line, pissed off that you're refusing to give them a refund. Have fun." Eventually I got pulled into a meeting with him and the CFO, and was told in no uncertain terms that if I continued to do so, I would be fired. I reminded them that the only reason this is happening in the first place is because A, they came up with this crappy plan in the first place, B, they're making me answer the phones instead of doing my job, and C, they can't keep anyone because whenever they hired someone new, the rest of us would fill them in on what's happening, and they would subsequently quit after their first day. In the end, I found a better job and quit that hellhole, and on my last day filed a complaint with OSHA, filling them in on all the illegal and dangerous crap they'd make us do in the lab. Entitled Todd Strikes Again. So I mentioned in my earlier post that I had a few stories about Todd, my next door neighbor who asked for a copy of my grandma's will because he was certain she left him something. That was my first encounter with Todd. This is the last known encounter with Todd, but it was my neighbor's encounter, not mine. Todd lived in his house for about 10 years before I moved next door. His house was in foreclosure when I arrived, and a year later he was gone. To say the entire street was relieved is an understatement. There may have been a parade. An investor bought the house for a ridiculous amount and flipped it. The new owner didn't do much to the house after he moved in. He was a great neighbor, and when he passed away, we all missed him. The next owners, current owners, moved in and started really renovating the place. When the house was initially flipped, everything they did was simply cosmetic. These houses were built in the 50s, so a lot of things were seriously outdated. Plumbing had to be redone, electrical had to be redone, kitchen wasn't remodeled correctly and had to be gutted. These poor people are pouring their blood, sweat, and tears into this house, but they love the house and the neighborhood, so it's all worth it to them. The new family had begun making very obvious changes to the house. First, they took out a planter's bed attached to the house, and are working towards a more natural landscape. We live in a very desert climate, so keeping grass can be kind of hard on the water bill. The next thing they did was start taking down a humongous palm tree that was literally planted in the middle of their 3-car driveway. Todd initially had a 1-car driveway. He planted the tree and then paved around it to make the driveway bigger, but by now it had grown so big that you could only fit 1 car comfortably, and a 2nd car had to be partially on the yard. Beginning work on that tree brought Todd out from under his rock. From what I understand, Todd had actually moved back to the state about a year or so after he left, and is currently living with his father just a few blocks away. One day he knocked on their door and demanded to know why they were taking down his tree. The wife, let's go with Amanda, was flabbergasted. I had told her Todd stories here and there, and she said she was simultaneously starstruck and confused as hell. He repeated his demand of knowing why they were cutting down his tree. He said they could not cut that tree down. It's his. He planted it when he first moved in, and he did not give them permission to cut it down. He then asked about the basketball hoop, which was also installed in the driveway. She said that was coming down too. He was angry. His kids played with that hoop, they grew up with it. Why would they take down a perfectly good basketball hoop and a perfectly healthy tree, especially when they didn't have permission? It seems Todd was under the impression that even if the house was no longer his, certain things around the house were. The tree, the basketball hoop, and the blocks from the planter. He didn't want those things, but he fully expected to be asked for his permission before making changes to those things. And he made it clear he would not give it, because they were his and he wanted them left right where they were. At some point, Amanda's brain kicked in, and Amanda is spiteful as all get out. She gave Todd a few choice words and told him to get off her property. That if he wanted his tree, he could haul it to his own house on the back of his bicycle for all she cared, but it was coming down. And if she saw him on her property again, he was going to meet her 3 dogs, and they loved the taste of trespassers. When the tree came down and before they got the wood hauled off, they set the pile at the corner of the street with a great big sign that said, "Todd's tree." Amanda said she has not seen him since, and I have yet to see him, so I think all is peaceful in the neighborhood again. Imagine actually selling your house and then thinking that because stuff there is sentimental to you, that the new owners have no right to touch it, even though they bought it. Like, what in the world was he thinking? Entitled father demands my friend to let him and his family on the plane. This didn't happen to me personally, but I was a direct witness to all of it. For backstory, my friend is rich, like really rich, like owns 2 private jets rich. You get the point. She and her brother are some real estate developers for rich clientele all over Asia. I was needing to get to Singapore to head back to Europe, since my flight origin is in Singapore and my original flight from Indonesia was cancelled. I told my friend this, and she and her brother had business in Singapore on the day I depart from there, so they offered me a seat on one of their jets while we all go together to Singapore. I was super thankful. 2 days before, my friend texted me to let me know that in total there were 4 of us flying to Singapore. This is important, and such details like weight and suitcase weight. Come to the day of the flight, I came first while my friend's brother was checking the plane. He was flying the plane. Then my friend arrived. I asked quickly who the 4th passenger was, and my friend said it was a friend of their father's who needed to get to Singapore as well. Then male Karen arrived. Not just him though, his wife and 4 kids. They just poured out of the car and started running to the plane. My friend stopped them, obviously, and demanded an explanation. As male Karen said, it was only him. The conversation was in Cantonese, but my friend translated for me later on. "What the hell is this? Male Karen, you said it was only you," said my friend. "Yes, originally, but seeing as I am in Singapore for a week, I wanted to bring my family along. They just called it last minute," said male Karen. "Male Karen, we only have 4 seats on this plane. It's me, OP, you, and my friend. We have a small jet. It's not going to fit 5 more." "Well, you just sit in the cockpit and kick him out. What's he doing here anyways?" said male Karen. "He is my friend and I invited him, whereas you on the other hand are a guest. You asked me the other day what plane it was. I told you which one and you still brought more people? This is unacceptable. Put them on a commercial flight, but not here," said my friend. "We still have luggage. I'm not paying extra if I'm going commercial," said male Karen. And male Karen showed 7 or 8 bags, and these were not like duffel bags. These were huge metal hard suitcases. Probably already 4 or 5 kilograms for the bag alone. And the male Karen's wife says, "When are we boarding? It's so hot. Just let the kids board, come on." "Excuse me, I'm the pilot here, and no one is boarding. Only the 4 people that were asked." "What the hell, man?" said my friend's brother. "I am not asking now. I am demanding you let me and my family on this plane, or I'll tell your father you disobeyed me, disobeyed your elders," said male Karen. And my friend says, "You are forgetting that this plane belongs to the 2 of us, so we have a right to control who and what is getting onto the plane. We are not arguing about this. It's either you get on this plane and you only, or get out. We are not dealing with this," said my friend. "But I have children," said the male Karen. "So does everyone else in the world. What makes them special? We have business to do, so come on." "No, this is bullcrap. I hate this. Just let my kids and wife in, I'm begging you." "What part of small jet did you not understand? It's still 5 people. It's extremely unsafe since the kids are already far from being babies." The male Karen began to get red with anger and started flinging the suitcases all over the place, one narrowly missing the plane's wing. The male Karen's wife was trying to mellow the situation, and even telling the male Karen it was worth a shot, but they can fly commercial, and that they have the money. Male Karen wouldn't let up. He was wailing around and throwing suitcases, even tried to grab mine, which his wife said no, and he didn't. His wife at this point started gathering the kids to bring to the car. Male Karen is still screaming and throwing his bag even, and almost hit my friend. As a last dash of desperation, male Karen started ordering my friend and friend's brother as if he was the parent, threatening to ground them, threatening to call their parents, or even the transportation safety board and whatnot. He even tried to take a swing at my friend, only for him to lose his balance and fall to the ground. My friend was really far and he didn't even make contact. Male Karen then literally started crying, saying all kinds of nonsense. By this time, his wife had already put the kids into their car, and she was just standing from afar seeing her husband having a tantrum. We all just stood there staring at each other and the male Karen while he is on the ground freaking out. "2 choices, you or not," said my friend. "I won't go unless my family is on board," responded male Karen. "Fine, then just us 3. Come on, OP. Male Karen's wife, take this trash away. I'm not dealing with this anymore." The wife did just that, but still with some resistance. Male Karen is crying and saying it's not fair. They left and we left. I could tell my friend was strained and fell asleep during the entire flight. The flight was good, by the way. Well, that's going to be all for today. Thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more if you haven't already. So I'm out of here. Take care.